This is where I've got to on my Mk2 Flight Bow. I've got the riser all built up and looking rather handsome. But just to give you the background of it, this started out as a one-piece bamboo backed U, lowish draw weight, I think it's about 40 at 28, sort of flight bow, sort of field bow. And to try it out as a flight bow, basically I sawed it in half, bulked it out round there with an assortment of bits of wood and epoxy, mounted it up in the first prototype of this, and managed to shoot 300 yards, which isn't huge, but then I measured the draw weight and it was only 32 pounds, which was very encouraging. So since then I've sawn this much off the tips, and I've made the new riser. I've had this on the tiller in the old riser pulling to 50 pound draw weight, so really it's a matter of getting it finished up, mounting it in here and giving it another go. The real point is that now it will have gone from 30 pounds, well 32 up to 50. It'll be shorter and thus should be quicker, and removing the tips has actually taken off 335 grains. So it's lighter, shorter, heavier draw weight. Hopefully, in theory, it should shoot further. I'll show you the innards of this, because basically it's all glued up from one side. So this then comes off like removing a lid, if you like. Dismantle it quickly one-handed. So you can see the arrangement. The limbs will fit into sockets here, but what I've done is I've allowed an extra 4mm, which will be a sheet of 3-ply, so I can just shim it out, and if I wanted to adjust the angle I could add wedges, but it's just to ensure that when I build the next limbs, because these are only really try-out limbs, they've got, you know, patches in and they've got knots and crizzles and Lord knows what, so they'll slot in like that. There's the forward grip, adjustable bridge rest for height and sideways movement, all nicely chamfered. I've milled out some of the excess weight where I could. I mean, I could stick a hole there for lightness, but yeah, weight's not particularly an issue. The grip is angled for comfort, and the main advantage on the previous version is it's much narrower here. The old version was this width all the way out, which made it uncomfortable on the wrist. But now that sits in the arm quite nicely. So really it's a matter of mounting it up and testing it. Well, obviously got that wrong. It wasn't 3-ply, it was the next one up. 6mm, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ply. You can see that's relatively snug. I just rounded that edge slightly. So I'll get the other one done and we'll get it all clamped up and see how much it creaks on the tiller. Well, that's it all bolted together. You can see it retains a hint of deflex and a bit of reflex on the tips. I've always maintained with a wooden bow, you pretty much want to keep the deflex and reflex equal and opposite, so the tips end up lining up virtually with the back of the bow. Obviously you could take it more, but what you gain on the swings you lose on the roundabouts. too much reflex, it just ends up meaning you're a shorter draw. So it's all a balancing act. I need to do one more thing before I get it on the tiller, and that's add the second screw into the grip. With it all bolted together, well, screwed together, it braced and drew very nicely, but then on close inspection I realised there was a little split in the ply there. The force of the screws had just lifted the laminations up. But I thought, simple fix. I wedged it open, pumped it full of glue, clamped it. Then when that was done, I drilled a series of holes and glued in bamboo skewers just to give the ply some resistance in this direction. I mean, it's very good in compression, but hasn't got so much strength opening up. So we should all be good now. Right, I've got it all mounted up solid. Got a decent string made. Estimated where the arrow will be and exactly where the flipper will be pulling from. I've even clenched those two fingers into about the width of the flipper. I'm a bit anxious because I did a quick try out and it seemed to be heavier draw weight than I wanted. It looked like it was going to end up being about 60, which I don't want. I want it about 50. So I don't want it to explode. I could have rushed and gone out shooting it today, but I thought, no, I want to get it set up accurately. I will try and keep it out of camera shot this time. Let's get down on the deck. Yeah, she's looking quite nice. You see, there's 50. Right, it's not too bad. Yeah, it's going to be about 55. Yeah, there we are. I think that'll do beautifully. Like I say, I probably could have shot it today, but I had a flu jab the other day and my arm was a bit sore and I didn't feel quite right. And I've got some new materials, I can make some more arrows and give it a good